Hi everyone. We're on day 3 of South Africa's lockdown and day 3 of the 21 days of personal development. It's Sunday here in South Africa and it is a day when in South Africa people tend to do religious services and spend time with family. So we had slightly less people today on our Zoom chat. You're more than welcome every single day to join us for our Zoom chat, and that link is down in the description. We'd love to have you come and join us. There's quite a nice group now of regular people that join, and it's very good to hear what's going on in different pieces of South Africa, different parts of Cape Town where I'm living. So please feel free to join us. Today we're going to be speaking about not comparing ourselves to each other and not comparing each other to ourselves. And during this lockdown, during coronavirus crisis that's hit the whole world, it's definitely a topic that is important for all of us because we need to be very gentle with each other in this whole crisis because all of us are going to respond to it differently. We respond to the bad news that we hear differently. We respond to the jokes that are going around differently. Some of us are really spending a lot of time looking at the jokes specifically because it helps us to be able to cope with everything. We're using that to help ourselves to feel a little bit better about a very bad situation. Some of us are turning to our religious beliefs, to God, like I am. Some of us are finding that we're getting overwhelmed. Anxiety levels are perhaps rising. Some of us are starting to question whether we'd actually be able to make it if this lockdown went longer. And all of those questions that we're asking ourselves are very normal for us to be asking ourselves in a situation like this. The feelings that we're feeling, the fear that we're feeling is very normal. And I'd like to really, really encourage you to be as gentle as you possibly can with the people around you, with your friends, your family, your neighbors, the people in the shops, to be very gentle with how they're dealing with it. This morning, we had something just outside our house where someone was really screaming at another neighbor. We don't know exactly about what. We think it might be because the other neighbor had gone outside for a moment. And when my husband and I were thinking about it as we ate lunch today, we were thinking, we understand both sides. We understand if the neighbor took their child out for a moment because it's very difficult in a flat to be in lockdown with your child. So if they went out for a moment, we can understand that. Of course, you can't go out much. If you go out, walk to your garage, walk back, maybe walk around your house, around the outside of your house or around the outside of the flat building. That is understandable. And at the same time, it's also understandable that the other neighbor was getting scared by it. Many times when we get scared, we respond with anger and with pointing our fingers at other people. And I really, really want to encourage you to realize that we're all trying our best in this. There are very, very few people, even in South Africa, who are on purpose doing the wrong thing. The vast majority of us, tens of millions of South Africans, are obeying the rules and staying in our houses and trying to keep ourselves and our children and our pets occupied inside. On that note, if you are struggling with trying to keep your pets occupied, SPCA in Cape of Good Hope SPCA on Facebook You can look at it, search for it, Cape of Good Hope SPCA. They're posting daily tips on how to keep your pets, your dogs specifically, occupied and entertained indoors. For example, keeping your pet's mind busy helps to actually relieve some of their built-up energy and built-up tension. So that's one of the tips. They've got some very good tips, and they've got good explanations, good examples of how you can implement that. So take a look on Facebook for that if you are needing that. As far as your children being inside, there are some excellent ideas going around for how to keep your children entertained. And I'm sure that if you have now been indoors for 3 days with your kids, you might be feeling that you really need that. So I encourage you to be very proactive about coming up with ways to keep them entertained, to keep everyone calm, and to be able to get rid of some of the energy. I've seen people, for example, create sort of obstacle courses for, around their house, with something on the floor that the children have to follow and jump over certain things and go around certain things and go under certain things and go around the whole house. That looked like a very good idea. You could do that kind of thing, and that could probably keep many smaller children occupied for a while. I hope that you are surviving and that it is going okay. Don't compare yourself at this point. Don't compare yourself to what you're seeing on. If you're not able to do the creative things that you're seeing that other parents are doing, don't compare yourself to that. We are all dealing with this the best that we can. If you are comparing others to yourself, please don't do that either. It's not necessary. It doesn't really help anyone. Trust that the vast majority of people are really doing everything that they can, and they are not trying to, they're just trying to get by day by day, and they are doing the best they can. We started with a verse that I'm going to share with you again. It's in Matthew 22. It says, "You shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, and mind. This is the first and greatest commandment. The second, most important, is similar. Love your neighbor as much as you love yourself." Let's do that. Let's love our neighbors. And let's also use this opportunity to learn how to love ourselves better. In 1 Corinthians 13, it explains what love is, and I'm going to read that through for you as well. Love is patient. Love is kind. Love does not envy. It does not boast. It is not proud. It's not rude. It's not self-seeking. It's not easily angered. It keeps no record of wrongs. Love does not delight in evil. Love rejoices with the truth. It always protects, always trusts, always hopes. It always perseveres. Love never fails. I'd like to really encourage all of us to spend some time looking at that verse and asking God to really help us to live that out at the moment, and especially in the next few weeks. Whatever is going to happen, we're going to need to be as loving as we possibly can to ourselves, first of all, and to our families, second of all, and our friends, and then to our wider community, our neighbors, the people that we meet in the shops, the people that are trying to lead us through this, the leaders of this country. Pray for them. Pray for us, all of us in this country. We're not going to do absolutely everything right, but we are all trying. We are trying. And give people patience and understanding and accept that they are trying. If people do react in a way that's different to the way that you react, or different to the way that you would think of things, try to put yourself in their position. Try to understand that many people are afraid at the moment. And fear comes out in many ways that are not really great, but try to be understanding as much as you possibly can. I'm going to read a few more verses to you. The first one is in Galatians 6. You should each judge your own conduct. If it is good, then you can be proud of what you yourself have done, without having to compare it with what someone else has done. Each of us has to carry our own load, do our own, consider our own conduct. Look at yourself first, before you look at someone else. Try to make sure that you're being as understanding and as kind and as patient as you can be. And if other people aren't doing that, try to be very patient and merciful towards them. The second verse that I'd like to read you is in Matthew 7. The beginning of Matthew 7 starts with, "Do not judge others, so that God will not judge you." And then I'd like to jump down to verse 4. How dare you say to your brother, "Please let me take that speck out of your eye," when you have a log in your own eye? You hypocrite. First take the log out of your own eye, and then, only then, will you be able to see clearly to take the speck out of your brother's eye. So let's take that to heart. Let's concentrate on our own behavior, the things that we're doing, and not compare it to others, not expect everyone to be doing things exactly the way we are, but to focus on our own actions. That's the only thing we can actually control. Focus on yourself here. If you believe that people need to do something in particular, do it yourself. If you believe that people mustn't go out, as many of us do it yourself. And if there are some people out there who are doing it slightly wrong, or who are doing it in a way that you wouldn't do it, forgive them. Just forgive them. If you see large crowds gathering, by all means, please report that. But the reason you're reporting it isn't because you're saying you're doing it wrong. It's because we want to protect each other. We know that if people are in close proximity to each other, if large crowds are gathering, even small crowds, if they're gathering, there's so much more chance for this virus to spread. So report them, but report them out of love. Don't do it because you're better than them. We aren't better than other people, not a single one of us. So please don't ever during this situation think that you are better than other people. We really, really are not better than other people. Not any of us. Not a single one of us. The third verse that I'd like to read to you is Philippians 2. Don't do anything from selfish ambition or from a cheap desire to boast, but be humble towards one another, always considering others better than yourselves, and look out for another's interests, not just for your own. That, I think, is one of the biggest messages at this point. We're staying inside because we do care about everyone else. We're not congregating together because we care about everyone else. We care about our families. We care about our parents, our children, our cousins, our friends, our colleagues. And the only way that we're going to stay safe, the only way, is if we all do our little bit. Look out for one another's interests, not just for your own. Please, please, please. The last one I'd like to read to you is Romans 12. Don't think of yourself more highly than you should. Instead, be modest in your thinking and judge yourself according to the amount of faith that God has given you. And during this whole period, try and grow that faith. Try and believe that God is going to work this out for our good in some way that we can't see and can't understand at this point. Every single one of us has different beliefs, and I've shared a lot of Bible verses today. And if you don't really like that, I just take what you can find useful in this and leave the rest. But please, try to have faith in God through this whole thing. Romans 8:28 says that all things will work out for our good, for all of us who love God. Believe that. That's all I have for you for today. It has been a very religious way of looking at this, and I hope that you've gotten something out of it, and I hope that you're all staying safe. And thanks for listening. I'll chat again tomorrow. Bye.